I left without a note or message, slipping out of the apartment in the early morning hours while she still slept. My footsteps echoed softly on the hardwood floor as I grabbed my jacket and keys, careful not to wake her. I didn't want to face her, not because I didn't care, but because I couldn't bear to let her see me break. Vulnerability had always been my weakness, and I wasn't about to let it show now, not after everything that had happened. So I walked away, the door clicking shut behind me, a quiet end to a chapter one once thought would last forever. For so long, I'd believed our love was unbreakable. I'd convinced myself it was the kind of bond that could weather any storm, arguments, distance, the little cracks that form over time. We'd built something beautiful, or so I thought, with late-night talks and promises whispered under the glow of a single lamp. But slowly I began to see the truth. That foundation we'd laid wasn't as solid as I'd imagined. It was eroding, worn down by her dishonesty, and the growing emotional chasm between us. She'd pull away when I reached for her, her smiles turning forced, her words clipped. I tried to ignore it, chalking it up to stress or a rough patch, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. I just wasn't ready to admit it. Then came the moment that shattered everything. I wasn't looking for proof. I never wanted to be that person, the one who snoops and doubts. But her phone buzzed late one night while she was in the shower, and the screen lit up with a name I didn't recognize. Curiosity got the better of me, and I unlocked it, my heart pounding as I scrolled through a thread of intimate messages. Words I'd once thought were mine alone, sweet nothings, flirty promises, were now directed at someone else. There were photos too, candid shots of her laughing with him, her eyes bright in a way they hadn't been with me in months. Each message was a dagger, carving away the trust I'd held onto so tightly. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. The betrayal was too raw, too overwhelming. Instead, I packed a bag, waited for dawn, and left without a word. I ended up in a new city, a place where the streets were unfamiliar, and the air didn't carry the weight of our shared history. It was a clean slate, a chance to rebuild myself piece by piece. I found a small apartment with bare walls, and a view of a bustling street below. And I threw myself into the routine of starting over. New job, new coffee shop, new faces. Healing wasn't linear though. Some nights, I'd sit on the edge of my bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment I'd missed the signs. I blocked her on every platform, phone, social media, email, severing every digital thread that tied us together. I told myself she'd moved on, that she was probably happy with him now, and I tried to believe it. It was easier than wondering if she ever thought of me. Months passed, and I was finally finding my footing when she showed up at my door. It was a rainy afternoon, the kind where the sky hangs heavy and gray, and there she was, soaked and shivering, her hair plastered to her face. I froze, my hand on the doorknob, as she looked at me with those familiar eyes I'd once fallen for. She didn't wait for me to invite her in. She just started talking, her voice trembling as she explained herself. She said she'd made a mistake, that the other guy meant nothing, that she'd been lost and scared, and didn't know how to tell me. She swore she never stopped loving me, that she'd spent every day since I left regretting what she'd done. Her words spilled out in a rush, desperate and pleading, and I could see the fear in her. Fear of losing me for good. I listened, letting her pour her heart out, and I recognized the regret etched into every line of her face. Part of me wanted to pull her close, to erase the months apart, and pretend we could go back. But as she spoke, I realized something. Love isn't enough when trust is gone. I'd spent too long piecing myself back together to risk breaking again. So I told her no. My voice was steady, even though my chest ached. I said I couldn't go back, that what we had was over, and that I needed to keep moving forward. She nodded, tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks. And for a moment, we just stood there, the silence heavy but not hostile. We shared a fleeting moment of understanding then. Two people who'd loved each other deeply, but couldn't find their way back. She reached out, her hand brushing mine, and I didn't pull away. It wasn't about rekindling anything. It was about closure. We didn't need to scream or fight, or cling to what was lost. Sometimes I realized closure comes in the quiet, in letting go without fanfare. She left after that, her figure disappearing into the rain, and I closed the door, feeling lighter than I had in months. Looking back, I know saying no took everything I had. My feelings for her didn't vanish the day I walked out. They lingered, tugging at me even as I built a new life. But I learned that strength isn't just in holding on. It's in knowing when to let go, even when it hurts. I don't regret leaving without a goodbye, because that unspoken exit gave me the resolution I needed. It wasn't tidy or perfect, but it was mine. And if there's anything I'd tell someone else going through the same mess, it's this. Find your own closure. It doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes the quiet act of walking away is enough to set you free.